guys, this is Kristen with Collision Hub, and if you know cars and anything about cars and the culture, well then you know who's standing next to me today, Gene Winfield. When I started painting cars, it was because of the work this man was doing. 8 years old, standing in the body shop. Gene, thank you so much for taking the time.
Christine, how are you?
I am doing amazing. I'm here with you. It doesn't get any better.
Thank you.
Like, from the bottom of my heart, thanks for all you've done for this industry. Let's talk a little bit about the build you're doing here and what you've been doing about all the AutoRamas across the country.
Oh yeah, I'm chopping 9 cars in 9 different cities. 9 different cars, each one in a different show, right in the show while the show is going on. This one is the 39 Chevy. We only chopped it 1.5 inches, but it makes a cool look. People will look at it and say, is that really chopped or is it not, you know? So that's what we're doing.
And that's a great detail. When you look at a car, a modification shouldn't change the whole body. You should really have to kind of look at it and go, oh, now I see what they did to it.
Right.
Which makes it nice. Now, paint work. I want to get into, I know you've been doing a lot with PPG lately.
Yes.
One of the things I've always admired, you know, for some of us upstairs right now with some of the cars, we buy lights and we light the cars to show it off, but you used paint to light your car. And you always had the lines, and explain that to me, because Gene, I've been trying to copy it for 20 years.
I read the highlights. See, whether it's outside in the sun or where we have the lights, the fluorescent lights, I read the lights, and then I want the light to work for me. So I painted accordingly, always dark on the bottom.
Yeah, I remember walking into SEMA a couple years ago and looking at Wildcat, and I had thought, how did we like that car? And then getting up next to it and realizing that you had done all that with your paint, which was just genius.
I have 5 cars here in the show altogether. My little truck over here, my new Econoline pickup, it's also blended right here. And I have a Mercury up there that's blended from yellow to red.
It's amazing stuff. Now, you've seen the evolution of paint as we've come to where we are now, all the way up through Waters. What are your thoughts on how the Waters have evolved, how PPG has evolved over the last years?
You know, PPG's got some great stuff, and I use both that and House of Color, and it's all good. I'm still in urethane. You know, I don't want to go to the water base, although I know I'm going to have to.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm out in the country where I live, and actually in the desert, and so I'm getting by with, you know, with no problem with still using the urethane, even though it's, you know, against the law to use urethane in California.
Right. Do you think that, I know, you know, when you started out, you had to create a lot of the effects, and now we have some chemistry, and we have some clears that forgive us of all things we do wrong these days.
That's right.
What do you think about that compared to the talent it took when you started to what we're creating today?
All lacquer, of course, you know. I didn't shoot any enamel to speak of, you know, it was all lacquer. And like you say, I created my own colors. Even one time I wanted some coarse, you know, what became metal flake. But before metal flake, I took brass and ground it into a box with a grinder. Real brass, actual brass material. Ground it into a box and catched it, but it wouldn't go through the strainer.
So you just kind of wanted up one.
Yeah. So anyway, I tried to make metal flake. You know?
And now we got flake now.
Yeah, that's right. All different grades, and it's just beautiful.
As you look up, you know, we're on the 50th anniversary of the Riddler.
Yes.
And so many people that are up there, they do the same as me. We lend our start to you and what you gave to us. What do you think of how we've evolved at hot rod culture and where we're at today?
Well, it's tremendous. I mean, it's fabulous, you know, and the detail and the things that we're doing underneath the cars now, which before, you know, you just paint it black and you know, detail the engine a little bit, and that was it. But now it's just so unbelievable, the amount of work and the new tools and equipment, of course, are way better than we had. You know, when I started, I had a hacksaw and a torch, you know, and that was it. And a MIG welder. I mean, stick art. I didn't, you know, we did before MIG. See, MIG, I wasn't introduced to MIG until, I don't know, 55 or whatever it was. But anyway, and I still led, you know, and I teach classes all over the world. I do workshops at my place twice a year. I'm doing them in Australia, Canada, U.S., Texas. You know, Texas, that's another part of another world, you know. But
it is another world.
But anyway, I have fun, and I'm teaching lots of young people, and I really enjoy that. When I do a workshop, I get into all kinds of little tricks, little things that you wouldn't think about. You know what I mean? You know, like other people when they're doing the workshops, they specialize in aluminum or steel or whatever. You know, and they concentrate just on doing that, on shaping it and welding it and so forth. But I show them little tricks of how to bend metal and do little things, and I always tell them, you know, every day is a school day. You're going to learn something new every day, no matter where you are, what you're doing, or who you are. And then I tell them at the class, they got to take home at least 40%. Some of them are going to take home 90%. But during the class, I'll say, well, here's a 40%er, and I bend a little piece of metal by hand, and it just blows them away.
Their eyes come open.
That's right. So I enjoy doing that.
What's next on the horizon? I mean, you're on the tour. You got a couple more of these to do, stops for AutoRama.
Yes.
People have a chance to see you. What are we going to see new coming out of Winfield Customs?
Well, I'm going to keep building custom cars. Of course, I'm chopping 5 cars at my place at home in between this tour. But the only thing that, besides my Econoline I just finished, called the Pacifica, then I'm going to build what I'm going to call the Winfield Wild Rod. Now, don't forget the word wild, because it is going to be wild. It's a pickup cab. It's a 51 Ford pickup cab. I chopped at 7 inches, sectioned at 6, and channeled at 3. So it's about so high, and it's going to be drivable at 1 inch off the floor.
Wow.
With a Ford Camry engine in it, and it's going to be wild.
Man, no, I can't wait to see that one.
It'll take a couple of years, but I'm going to have fun. That's what I do.
It's all about. It's what we do we do this because we love it, not
That's
because
right.
the money's there, right?
That's right. That's right.
Well, guys, like I said, I started my career because of Gene and what he does with color, and I still refuse to paint purple because I know I'll never make it look the way he does on a car. So check out the website, go and visit Gene Winfield, learn all about what he's given. Most of the people on the upstairs will tell you that we got our start and we are where we are because of the path that this man forged for us and the history that's here. Amazing. So stay tuned to Collision Hub. We'll be back a little bit later from AutoRama 2013.